Yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk. Good morning. I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for tuning in to this episode of World of Tanks. Two replays for you today, and we're going to talk about how one good decision can turn a game, even if it's not a 3,000, 4,000, 959,000 damage game. Here we are on Himmel's, Himmel's Bay. GSOR, these are both in the GSOR, both these games. We've spawned into Himmel's Bay, and we're at the North spawn. And I'm looking at the loadout here, or at the matchmaker. I'm bottom tier in a 3-tier battle. Lots of TDs, 3 Arties. Very interesting. Couple scouts running around. But nothing super scary as far as wolf packing capability. They have a Leopard, they have a CS-59, maybe a T-49. Which makes me think right off the bat that I might have an opportunity to run the 1-2 line. We're going to pause this just for a second. I will be coming out with a series, hopefully in the near future, talking about critical terrain. But let's just talk about that a little bit here because it's important to my thought process on what I decided to do on this game. As a general rule, I am very aggressive, so I'm going to pick the aggressive move more often than not. This may be limiting on my win rate. It sits at 58%. Perhaps it'd be a little bit better if I was a little bit more cautious, but it's a pixel tank game. What do you want? But quite often, making that one good decision based on what you're looking at as far as the matchmaker, the match, the map, everything else, the tank you're in, can go a long ways towards helping your team win, being a critical part of the win, if not the critical part, right? You can be a critical cog without being the absolute top critical cog. The point of that is you want to make good decisions all around, and you would like to do it in respect to the team as a whole and help them win the game. As a general rule, that means that you get into purple places, do purple things, you get into the critical part of the map. So what is the critical terrain on this map? This map is very interesting, and like most of the very open maps, it doesn't really have a singular area. As a general concept, you need to hold 2 flanks on any of these open maps. Mrovanka, Proc especially, this one, potentially the one with the Magic Forest, although the middle city part's not that important, but you get the picture. On a lot of these open maps, you've got to hold a couple of the flanks in order to hold the critical terrain, in order to increase the odds that you're going to win, in order to make the high percentage play. I don't like the city on this map over on the east side because it's too easy to get bogged down in there, and it's too difficult to push, which means you just end up sitting down there until the map is usually won or lost. If you do have a hard push in the city, which you can get, especially if you don't invest anybody down there, and the enemy team invests plenty, it's very hard to turn the east side of the map into a winning play. Because once you get down into the south from the north or into the north from the south, all of this open area that you have to traverse is very difficult to push in. And really, instead of pushing in, you're going to come and feed back through the middle, which brings me to the middle. The middle has to be held, it has to be watched. It is a critical part of the map. But for me, the actual critical terrain is over on the west side, and we'll get going again. And if you can push the west side, which it is easier to do, roll up the enemy team on that side, then you can turn that into a better advantage on this map. Meaning you can either move to the middle or continue to push if you're winning everywhere, not usually the case, or come all the way back and defend against anybody who may have broken through in the city. So I would contend that where I'm going is the critical part of the map. Now, TDs, bottom tier. I think most people would say, all right, let's hang out in this bush for a while and just sit here and see how things develop. And that's not a bad plan, but look how many tanks are coming my way. Bat Chat's forward, the Sturb, the Scorpion, the 4005, the Patton, who's made a late decision, or potentially I didn't pay attention if he went one way and came the other or spawned in late. But in any event, he is moving this way. I start looking at this and I think, okay, I like to push this. I'm not in the greatest push tank. However, I am bottom tier. And somebody's got to get up there and start working these guys. And really, you'd like to trap them behind that mill up there. Now, I also know there's 3 artillery, and I can see them. They're headed over to the east side. And let's just let this develop. Even 90. All right, there's one of the scouts. Let's just go. One of their scouts is already on the run. He's taken some hits. Lucky. Just a lucky bounce. Scorpion G bounces off me. This thing doesn't have a lot of armor. You will sometimes take a hit. I'm not a particularly fast tank, and a much faster tank that works a lot better right there, but I've made that one critical decision to come in here. Now I'm thinking, all right, the even 90 has trapped himself behind the mill right there. Are they going to charge me because they know I came in? Also, and in addition to, the guys behind me have just got in position. So now I've got all kinds of guns down there. That actually surprised the hell out of me. To be honest, I have zero idea how I got spotted there. Maybe the even 90 was in this bush, and I think that's what ends up having happened, and I just didn't spot him, because I don't even think if he was up high here he would be able to see me. So I think he's come around the corner, and that's a great spotting point. And the point then of moving up to the middle is to do this. Let's not let him work around, take peeks, hang out in bushes. Let's make him either run away, which gives me a little room to work, or die to the artillery. And that's what I'm waiting for. I am also vulnerable to artillery. There's a shot going in, so there's another one. So I'm thinking, all right, they're paying attention. Once those two shots happen. Now, if I come up here and the arty is not coming in, and that may have actually been an arty from them at me. If I sit here for a while and the arty doesn't come in, we'll talk about the 49 in just a second. I do have the option to use this mill as cover and back up over to that bush back here, right? Get back in behind here, because I'm not really getting any help from these guys. Look at all the campers back here. Which brings me to another point about critical terrain and being an aggressive player. So someone's got to do it. You know, I can sit back there and we can slowly die a slow bleeding death in a camping team, which this team appears to be perfectly happy to do, minus the two scouts, the T-49 doing yeoman's work over there against the Leopard. But look how many of our guys are just sitting on the camping hill. Is that, I don't even know what that is, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them are back there. Now the bat chat, to be fair, was up forward a little bit and he's fallen back. So we're up here. All right, here comes the T-49. This is a team that understands what's going on and knows they have to get rid of me. So T-49 comes down. ELC gets a couple shots. I get rid of those guys. I've got 400 damage, 623 assist, and we've done something extremely important on this map. Now, I didn't come down to this point. I'm not going to pretend that I came down here because I knew the scouts would YOLO me and I'd get them dead, but they're dead, right? Some good tanks got dead. Now we kind of own this flank, and all these guys back here, back there, are going to be able to move up. And this game, this is a huge advantage. The Leopard's dead as well in the middle, so we've held the middle. The enemy team is camping harder than we are. Right? The greatest tonic for a team not playing the odds, playing poorly, positioning poorly, is the other color team, the other side, doing even worse. And that always is a good thing. So these guys are moving up, getting thumped on. We'll come up here and see if we can take a peek. Finally, the Patton's moving up. Here comes the T-28. I'm on a reload anyway. I see some trees go down. Take a peek back there, see where everybody is. Come on out here and see if we can get some shots on people. Right now, I'm just poking just the very front edge of my tank around the corner to see if I'm going to get lit. There we go. A couple guys get hit. We'll just keep working it. This game doesn't end up being an absolutely amazing bang-up game. It's not a 3,000 damage game. It's not a, I don't think it's even a 2,000 damage game, to be honest. It might be close to 2,000 combined. So we find this guy. That's a bummer. That's going to get me lit. Didn't. That actually surprised me. T-28, down goes that guy. Oh, there's a stirb, so we'll just back out. Might even get a shot on him. Bummer. Bounces. And wait and see if he maybe shoots. He's moving. See how he's trying to get away. So that gives me an opportunity to take a shot. That one goes in, thank goodness. And down he goes, and we'll reload. So we're at 1,100 assists, 819 damage, and it's an absolute romple stomp at this point. This entire flank has collapsed because one guy went forward, and then I get killed by arty naturally. All those guys up there fighting them, and the arty shoots at the guy that was sitting here. I don't know if maybe that guy knew that's what happened, or he was just kept shooting where I was. I don't know, because it'd been a while since I was spotted. I took a shot at the stirb, and he probably, if he was aimed in, he saw me come up here and sort of rock back and forth. May have figured I was still just sitting there, and maybe these guys were dark up here. I don't know, but whatever the reason, I die. All right, I got a second example for that one good decision. Second example on Glacier Dwarf, spawned over into the east side. What's Guido going to do? This time bottom tier and only a 2-tier battle, so a rather more effective tank overall. Pretty much a beast, the GSOR. Most people are going to sit back here. This is another classic map, and most of them are like this, but this one in particular, as is the one I just talked about, for TDs to sit way back, very close to cap. These positions over here on the ridge, maybe hanging out here, potentially back up into these bushes behind here, but never really getting very much further than about that line right there. Not diving off into the bottoms and not really going too far south. There's another big bunch of bushes down here they hang out, and just it's TD land, and the same thing happens over here on the other side. So I make the decision not to, because I don't want to sit on cap. I don't want to rely on the enemy team walking into my gun, and I don't want to rely on my team making a defensive move viable because they did enough damage while I was sitting in a bush. So what do? I'm going to go down here. I'm going to take this significant gun, this 4-shot autoloader, and I'm going to head to the heavy brawling area, and I'm going to support the heavies. That is what is known as second line support. You can take a Scorpion G down here. Guido, you can't take a Scorpion G. Sure you can. 100% you can take a Scorpion G down there. Do you want to be the first guy poking out and taking hits? No, you don't want to be the first guy poking out and taking hits. But if you got a convoy coming, you've got some heavies coming in, the Marbreaker, 50 TP, ISM, head that way. The big mistake a lot of people make, in my opinion, is they wait too long. Now, I could come down here, and if I turn around and I go, only one guy is coming, say it's just me and the 4202, well, then I either go defensive or I get out. But I make the decision early to go to the critical terrain. Oh, by the way, discussion of critical terrain. The critical terrain on this map is here. You win here, and then you go back and deal with the rest. You do not win here and push south out in this open, or from the south spawn, you do not win up here and push across this open. You win it, clear them out, and you go back, or you go over to the middle. Then you start working on all the guys who are usually just hanging out in these bushes and ridges, bush sniping. This is where the push happens. The first critical battle happens here. Go here. It's the critical terrain. Period. Dot. End of story. No more questions. Okay? Anyway, I know I'm going to get some pushback on that. I know there's going to be some people who like to work down in the south, and that's fine, but rarely is that part of the map critical to a win. Rarely is it the high percentage play. You play the odds, man. And I know I have a lot of videos where I talk about times when you don't play the odds. If you can make that decision, a good decision based on, being in a platoon, having the right map, match, tiering, tank, etc., go for it. I mean, fantastic. If you can win in the non-standard way or the low percentage way, that's fantastic. Do it. But don't be surprised when you lose. Right? You took the low percentage 3-point fadeaway 3-point jump shot from 10 feet behind the line, and you clang it, and you're an inside player. Don't get all butthurt and surprised and go, well, my team sucked. Well, okay, dude, you took the low percentage play. That's fine. You wanted to, but don't complain about it. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to support these guys. And this is what I'm doing. I'm waiting. I've got a reload going on. There is an RD to worry about. Now I'm just working myself around and looking for that nice opportunity to poke out and drop some paint on somebody. Just about reloaded. There we go. So, boom. ST1. Let's get into the front edge of this guy. This is one of their best tanks, and down he goes. So we've cleared out the ST1. They've already lost a couple other tanks. Our campers are doing what they do, camping. Good news is they're kind of holding them off. And now I'm going to head off this way. The team, unfortunately, decides to wrap around the corner and they go after the Object 252. I am going to go back to the middle because I don't feel like driving across the open and letting things like the E50 and any camping TDs up there kick the living snot out of me as I cross. Plus, I'm in a GSOR and it takes 4 days and a week and a fortnight and a couple months to reload. So heading over here, I can see that the south part, the problem with campers typically, and even though we have a bunch of really good guns sitting back at the cap, the problem is they're usually not good players, and good players can figure out ways to get up underneath them, get them spotted, and get them waxed out there. And you can tell that the even 90 and some of those other guys are giving those guys a really tough time there. So I ended up finding the E50 here. He just absolutely snap-a-lama-ding-dongs me right there. So we get a couple shots, now we got to get out. Gonna hit C, and I eat a shot from the even 90 I wish I hadn't hit, or wish I hadn't eaten. We'll fix that, and I'm reminded that they're all over there. It's not really a tenable position over here now in the middle, and I've got to flex over here and deal with the cap, which is another reason why you don't push after you win that north flank. There was no reason to put. Look, they're all stuck. They're all worried about what the T-28 potentially, or it's probably the WZ that's been thumping them, maybe the Arty. They're finally getting in there, but our cap's threatened. You know, that's the problem with being successful like that. When you don't run into enough of their tanks and kill them, it means that there's a good number of their tanks still on the map, and they may all be headed towards the cap. And look at our campers; they got kind of tore up. So we'll come across here and we'll start working on these guys. One nice thing though about pushing a cap when it's successful, and right now it is it usually peels back a few of the tanks of theirs, the smart ones who may have been pushing. So it can be helpful. I'll come up here, I'm going to find this Char. He's not paying attention. I know he has a long intra clip, so it's going to give me a second to load. I'm going to try to go for the track, doesn't work. Little behind him, that does get me a track and one more shot. This even 90's probably in a reload. Just found their T-28, by the way. I wish right here I make a mistake. I should have gone over to where the T-54 is and tried to hide with him, or just gone down the hill and run away and get behind something, maybe even towards a bat chat or something. I was sort of feeling like the even 90 would be, you know, very defensive and very worried there, and the Arty hammers me, of course. Just Arty, man. I can't get away from it. He may have even seen that damage, because he's going to take the opportunity once he's reloaded to come down and finish me off. I'm a long ways from reloading. Trying to just put some front armor to him, it doesn't work, and he ends up getting me dead. 2,600, 206 assists. He's got a 2 marked even 90, so he's pretty good. But there's only 4 of them left. We end up tracking them down and killing them. We're even capping. Good lord. So there you go. A little discussion on making that one good decision that's critical to helping your team. In either of those cases, am I saying I'm exactly or 100% the only thing that helped win? No. A lot of guys had damage, they got kills, they went places, did things and such. But I would say that absolutely in both these cases, I took my tank to the critical terrain and got the ball rolling, or at least helped the ball roll. I really want to foot stomp again this second one in a TD when you have people say things like TDs are support or second line support. That's what I did. That's what I did. My heavies and things got out. If you can ambush someone, even better. But my heavies got out there, started shooting those guys. Once that dude shot, the ST-1 being that dude, I pop out. I put some hits on him twice in a row and we get rid of him. That's what you do with the TD second line support. You wait for that opportunity to come out and put that awesome gun in use, and then hide, get yourself reloaded, resituated, and then do it again. Rinse, wash, and repeat. And once again, 100,000 times, stop pushing when you win the north. The critical terrain on this map is the northwest. Stop it, stop it, stop it. If you're winning everywhere, fine. If you're not, which you usually aren't if you win it quickly, go back, go to the middle, or work yourself down into the south. You will absolutely increase your win rate on this map exponentially. Maybe not exponentially, but you will increase it. That's all I've got for today, everybody. Thanks for coming by, supporting the channel. Have a good Monday, and we will see you.